So yeah, I'm Meg, and I was going to start by apologizing for my pun, but I'm pretty sure Jason also did a pun. So it's fine. I'm not going to apologize. You would have done the same thing in my situation. I'm going to talk about fabric. And firstly, is everyone else seeing this pop up every time you open Power BI? No? Any nods? Is it just me? Is it my company? Because this has gone for like months and months and months now. Even though it says it expires in like days, I keep on getting the notification that unless I pay for fabric, uh, I'm gonna lose all of my fabric tools. And because of this chaos, honestly, I ignored fabric for a very long time. Like, what even is fabric? Because we've been bombarded with a lot of tools, a lot of tabs, a lot of repackaged old tools as well, under this label of fabric. So I ignored it for a very, very long time until one day my manager came to me and asked me to solve a problem. So for some context, I work in a consultancy, which means the main product is the hours of people, right? So when a contract is won, the hours and the sales order value is recorded on the finance system. Sorry, there's no clicker, but I like to walk. So, and as the contract goes on, sometimes additional work is requested, which is completely fine. It just means those hours, additional hours, goes into an ad hoc code, and the sales order value increases to charge the client.
Hey, my mouse is there. You want to pick it up? Click it. Just follow it on the laptop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, I work in the finance team. So the natural question arose, okay, we see these additional hours against this ad hoc code, but are the clients getting charged every time? A natural question. So essentially, what we're trying to answer is for the contracts with the additional hours, did the sales order value change? Right? Everyone with me? Simple? Not simple. Not simple at all. Because now for some data context, the sales order value gets loaded into the SQL Server every morning in a very simple text way, just like it looks like contract ID, sales order, and load date. And it's just a daily snapshot. So it doesn't load any historic data. But obviously what I need is historic data. I need to see the current sales order value and the previous sales order value. Now, at this point, some of you are already thinking, okay, next, you said SQL Server, there's contract ID, there's load date. It's pretty easy to do on a SQL Server, right? With a couple tables on SQL. I agree, it is easy to do. But I went to the IT team and they said they're in the middle of a data orchestration project. So they won't be adding any new tables, views till the next financial year. And I was left in this position where either I could tell my boss that I can't do anything until 2026, or maybe there's something in fabric that could help. Maybe. And luckily there was. Luckily there was. The first of which is a data lakehouse, the ability to create your own data lakehouse. Now, I'm not going to go into anything technical because I don't know anything technical, but a lakehouse, to me at least, is a place where you can store tables of data, well, any types of data, files, folders, anything. And when you create a lakehouse, a SQL analytics endpoint is also created, which means you can query all your tables, all your data using SQL, Jason's favorite language. So that's exactly what I did. I brought in the data, my, the daily refresh table, using a Gen 2 data flow specifically, into the lakehouse, and this is what it looks like. And you can see the analytics endpoint created, and also the option to open a notebook, which is the second feature that I used. You probably know what a notebook is because the terminology is similar across, other technologies like this Jupyter Notebook, for example. A notebook on Power BI, on Fabric, allows you to script in Python, in R, in SQL, and reference all the other table data in your lakehouse, which means you can, do transformations on your tables and data in the lakehouse. And the best thing about a notebook is that you can refresh it, schedule a refresh. So my ETL went from looking like this in Power Query on a good day, when I remember to actually change the headings and label what I do. On a bad day, it's hundreds of rows of just duplicated lines. But it can now look like this on a notebook, simple, clear, linear. You can collaborate more than one person at the same time if there's a big project. And you can switch between languages depending on what your data needs at the time. So, if extraction is easier in Python, you can do that part in Python, and then you can switch to SQL and then switch to R. So I think that's pretty amazing. I hate M code as well. I suck at M code. I don't know M code. So that's a bonus. And I don't feel the same, because I don't know M code, I don't feel the same limitations using a notebook as I do on Power Query, because there's just so much more you can do, with the multiple languages. So yeah, going back to my example, I created a sales order history table. So just a blank table in the lakehouse. I appended my daily refresh data. So just wrote a little script to append the data to the bottom. So created this history table that has all the snapshots every day, and then created a view based on that history table to, SQL magic. I'm not going to go through it, but it got me the table that I needed. And again, I can connect it to my model using a SQL connection string. Which brings me to the last feature that I use, which is a data pipeline. And I don't think I need to explain what a pipeline is, first this happens and this and this. And I think like this was possible in Power Automate already. It's just useful to have everything in one workspace, one place, dates, 30 seconds, a minute. It's nice. And I haven't used all the features, but I heard the copy data is very, very, very useful for copying large amounts of data because it's a lot faster than a data flow because it uses parallelism. Yeah. So yeah, back to my original question. What is Fabric? Well, it's the workspace and the tools and technology that allowed me to create my own lakehouse, perform some notebook magic against it, put it all into a data pipeline so I can continue making my beautiful reports. And I know looking at this, it would be a lot easier if the SQL Server had all the information in the first place, and then it can just go directly to my reports, which is an ideal scenario. And it's actually what the IT team is working towards with the data orchestration project. But complete data isn't ideal. and it's not a reality in most circumstances. It's not my reality. I think it's not a reality for most companies. So in that situation, I'm a data analyst. Data analysts have to find ways to kind of persevere, be resilient to hearing no and can't be done all the time, and to find ways around the system. So Notebook gives a lot of new Notebook Fabric, sorry, gives a lot of new tools to do so. It's the last slide. I always end with a meme. Thank you.
Did anyone have any questions actually quickly for Meg just before we move on? Okay. Can't sit down yet.
I was just saying, notebooks are great. The notebook's so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.